everybody, this is Chris from Style Harmony. Thank you for joining me. Today's video is going to be on how to make your very own hair clips or barrette. It can be for yourself or of course for your kids, for your neighbor's kids, or for craft fairs because they really sell well. It's very easy to do and it is done in no time. So what you will need for this is, of course, some felt. And here I have a lot of dies, so I can cut my felt with my dies, my regular paper dies. It's very easy to do and it cuts perfectly. So you will need some felt and dies, or you can cut your flowers just by hand, like in these very easy shapes. This one also is very easy to do and it will work just fine. I mix and match my different shapes, I don't mind. And I also cut some leaves out. Very simple, you see, very simple shapes. So you could cut these by hand too. You will need hot glue for this because hot glue just bonds perfectly to felt. But you will also need, and I'm sorry for my hands, but I've got glue everywhere. You will also need some really fast dry glue because hot glue doesn't like to bond on non-porous surfaces, so it's really not good on metal here like these barrettes are, these hair clips. So if you really want to bond very well your flowers to here, you will need something like crazy glue, and that will be perfect because over time it might fall off, and I don't want this to happen to you. And you will also need some rhinestones or enamel dots or things like that just to make it look a little nicer here, like this is an example. And I made another one just a few minutes ago. Where did it go? Where is it? Oh yeah, and I made this one too with another centering in here. And I also am going to use these kind of enamel dots, and if you haven't seen this video, I will put a link here on the upper right corner there somewhere on how to make your own enamel dots look like, you know, they look like enamel dots, and I've done them in a bunch of colors. They're very easy to do, and you really need very few materials, and it's fast and cheap. I've got some here in gold with some glitter, so please go and check that one out. And that's about it. That's the only thing you will need. So with no further ado, let's get started. So I've got my different felt flowers here. And also I'll show you how to make these roses, these flowers. You can make them in one color, two colors. There's 3 colors here, and of course the size you want. And I'm maybe going to start by this. So let's see. I'm going to take 2 colors because I think it will be easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue, and I'm going to cut a strip here. And I don't want my flower to be too big, so I am not going to make this strip of felt too large. And you will need good scissors for this. These scissors are almost all-purpose, but fabric scissors is even better. And then I usually eyeball it, but if you can't, or you don't feel, let me zoom back a little bit. If you can't eyeball it, just put your 2 pieces there and just cut it this way to make your 2 pieces more or less even. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Okay, let me take this away now. So now what you will need to do is put just your 2 pieces of I'm going to start here, your 2 pieces together, and now I need to zoom back in. And again, I'm showing 2 pieces here because it's easier to see that on camera. And I've got still a lot of glue. So now I'm not putting any glue yet. If you don't feel comfortable at this point, put a little bit of glue to bond these 2 pieces together. For me, it's just fine. And I'm going to start rolling, but I'm doing this really, really tight as I can to have a nice little center. So once you're there, I'm going to twist my 2 pieces together. And depending on how much you twist, depending on how many twists you do, and depending on how tight you're going to pull here, your flower is going to look different every time. So you need to play with this a little bit to see how it's going to end up, and then do always the same thing. So always keep your 2 pieces flush like this, and then you start rolling and twisting at the same time. So here I'm going to pull a little more, and I try to keep my flower more or less at the same level every time. And you see, I still didn't put any glue. At this point, if you don't feel comfortable with this, just put a little dab of glue here first, hot glue, and then glue it on. Because you might have your felt unravel on you here, so maybe putting a little dab of glue would help you a lot. I'm just kind of used to do this, so I don't really mind. I pull it tight, and that's it. So I'm going to go to the end. And then when you have this little piece of tail there in your hand, it's about time to stop your flower. So normally with me, the nice part of the flower is on my side. But sometimes when I pull it on the other side, I just turn it over. This side can be nicer than the other one. So before putting your glue, just be careful on which side looks better. I like this side best. And I'm going to change this a little bit and tighten it up here. I'm sorry I've got my finger in the middle, but that's the only way I can really still keep my flower together. And now what I'm going to do, and if you have a hot glue gun that has a low temp, I would absolutely recommend that, because you're going to burn yourself otherwise. So young people, please, if you're watching, do this with an adult, because I don't want you to get burned. And then I'm just going to tuck that in. And what will be very useful is having a non-stick mat. I forgot to tell you about this. A non-stick mat here, because I like to put my flower as soon as I put the glue here. Leave it there just a few seconds to make sure it's the glue is drying and cooling down. And if it's not enough, I would still start putting more glue in here in all these crevices, just to make sure it's not going to unravel at any moment. And you will be able to take all these filaments of glue later on when everything is dry. And it's only on the back of it, so no one's going to notice anyway. So I'm going to leave it there just a few seconds, and that's the way I did it. So again, depending on how tight you do it, it's going to look different almost every time. This is a bigger one, and you can see it's slightly different. This one again. So I think it's a nice way also to make roses without having any dyes, and I wanted to share this with you. So now, let's see, can I take it off? Yeah, well, not really. I'll do this later on. I don't want you to wait too long. So let me take this away. And now with your other petals, we're going to start putting all these flowers together. And even though I have different kind of shapes here, I'm going to go zoom back. Sorry, it's going very fast. So I'm just going to put these all together and mix and match my shapes. I don't really care about the shapes. I think it's even more interesting. And of course, you will put all the colors you like together. I like to have something that is really bright. Let me see, maybe the pink first, and then a little bit of orange. This one is a bit too big. Or you could do a tone on tone if you wanted to. No, I might do pink and blue. Okay, I like that the way it is. So it's going to be a fairly big flower. And of course you can make smaller ones. Let me see, I'm always do several at a time. Let me see, I'm going to make a smaller one here. And of course you can stack as many as you want. You don't have to put just 2 or 3 layers here. You can just put as much as you wish. I don't have enough red here. Let me see. Oh, I like this green. So of course you go from bigger to smaller. I like this one, and maybe this one here in the center. Why not? It's maybe not the nicer colors here, but not really excited by this yellow. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm gonna like it this way. Again, pink and blue, and now a little bit of orange. The more layers you put together, of course, the thicker it's going to look and more 3D like. So let's start doing here. Putting a little bit of glue here in the center. I'm going to take this away. I'm putting then my second layer on top. And what I like to use also is a just a pen to really push it hard here, because it's even going to make a little bit more shape with my flower. Zoom back a little bit, you need to see that. Okay, now again a little bit of glue. The other layer here. Okay, press, glue, and oops, my very last one. And I might going to use my stylus here. This is a stylus, and because it's getting really small, and I'm still going to do the same thing and press here in the middle, and it's going to stay a little bit like this as a cup, and that's it. So now I'm going to show you even closer. This is what it looks like. So you see, it's really 3D, it's dimensional. I like that. And it's now that you can put your embellishments in the middle. Because this one is really small, I am going to use something that is also fairly small. I just need to find some blue here. I don't have blue. What color? I've got green again, so I'm going to use one of these. And I'm not going to use my hot glue for this because it's really too small and I'm afraid of putting too much glue. So this is also when my crazy glue here is going to get handy. And I'm going to put just a little dab here in the center. And my tweezers to grab this little baby here. Ooh, come on, boy. Where did it go? Oh, I've got it here. So I'm going to grab this and put it right in the middle. Yeah, and green is nice because it reminds the first layer of petals. And this is one done. So very easy to do, very fast, and you can do a whole bunch like this. So once your flower is done, the only thing you have left to do is stick it on your barrette, your hair clip. So it's either like this, before clean it very well with some rubbing alcohol to make it totally stain free and oily free. And you can either put it this way and you will still be able to see a little bit of the shine of your barrette behind. If you don't want to see this, what I usually do is I've cut out some leaves here, and you can put, I'm going to do it right now, if you don't want to see the metal piece, I'm going to glue here one of my leaves, and you can put a different leaf on the other side. It really doesn't matter, and you don't need to put a lot here, and that is going to stick perfectly. And now you can use your hot glue gun. Let me see where I want to put my flower. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm going to stick this piece here again a little bit, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to put a generous amount here of glue, and now I'm going to stick my flower exactly where I want it to be. And there you go, and you don't have to do anything else. And I can tell you, because I've made some for myself, it really stays there. If you use this glue in order to glue it on your barrette, it's going to stay there. It's not going to move away. And you can use this, I mean, even if your hair clip is there. Whoops, I'm out of focus, I'm sorry. It's still very easy to open. It's not bothering here, the hair, it's not in the way. So it's still very, you can use it normally. I mean, there's no problem with that. So this is done, and you can make, of course, the shapes and the sizes you want. You can do a very simple one here with one of your roses. Let's make a bigger one here. So I'm going to glue this down first. And this is a bigger barrette, depending on how you know, some girls have a lot of hair, so they need a bigger barrette hair clip. And okay, I didn't wait enough, so let's do it this way. I'm going to do the same thing here, and I don't really put anything in the center because I'm going to have my flower anyway. So another leaf here. Just wait a few seconds. I need to put the cap back on. Okay, and then you could put your flower here in the middle, and this is what I'm going to do. Oops. Let me see, my glue gun is a bit filthy, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. And then stick my rose here, my 3-tone rose in the middle. And if you're still afraid about the background that is not nice looking, well, what I'm going to show you, you should have done it in the beginning, but if you don't like it, you could still be able, but not now, of course, again, put some other flowers and do something like this. So that would hide almost completely your flower, okay? The back of the flower. So this is another way of doing it, and you still can use it normally. Nothing is in the way. You can open it and close it, and it's going to stay there for good. Okay, it's not bothering you at all. So of course you can make these any color you want, and you can also put, if you do want to do this for Christmas, for example, you could use only red and green colors, put a little bit of glitter in it, and that would be really, really nice. So this is it. I just wanted to share this with you because this is what I do also for craft fairs, and it's really, really easy to do. These pieces are not expensive at all. You can buy them by bulk on the internet, or maybe if you're lucky enough to have a dollar store or something like this. We don't have this here, but I can still manage to find out some of these things really cheap. So there you have it. Please give me some give me some thumbs up, please, if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to have all the notifications every time I make a new video. And I'll be back very soon with something very different next time. See you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.